Howdy. There's just something about coffee. When you get my age, this is the nectar of the gods. Okay. Welcome back to the String Pulling Get Picker channel, where I'm your host, Casey, just a redneck country boy that loves all things music. Not the smartest person in the world about it, not a professional by no means, but I do welcome you here just the same. I hope that something in today's video will either inspire you to purchase the product or help you along your path either way. Any questions that you have, feel free to comment below. Any suggestions for new videos, feel free to comment below. Today we are talking about the Fender Rumble 100 watt bass amplifier. I have showcased this in a video or two that I have done so far, and I love this amp. I know you guys hear that I love everything that I have. There are things that have a love-hate relationship, but this amp was almost not meant to be, but it was. So let me tell you the story about how I went from a guitar player to a guitar and bass player, and how I acquired the Fender Rumble. Okay, first off, we have some specs on the Rumble. One of the things I wanted to note right off the back, and I kind of thought that was, you know, neat in a way, because in other amplifiers I wanted this so bad. But check this out. Let me try to do this one-handed. The front cover comes off with easy access to the 12-inch Eminence speaker that is in the front, 2 ports in the bottom. I really like that about this amp, that you have easy access to that, and that you're able to swap them out if you want, which I haven't, because I do love the sound of this amp. Let's go through what she has to offer. Let's see, finger in the way, and another finger in the way. Okay, so first we have our master control, and then of course we have the equalizer here, which has the bass, the low and high mid-range, and the treble. This is kind of what I've put it on, and I've scooped the mids just a little, but it sounds good, so I've left it there. And we have the overdrive channel here. You have your drive and your level on that, and then we have our gain here. Now this amp has 3 voicings: the vintage, the contour, and the bright. We will go through those as we do our demo of this amp. And it has an XLR out on the back. So there's your effects loop, the auxiliary in, headphones, your foot switch, and the line out. And there, of course, is your power cord. So that is the specs so far on this amplifier. And let me plug up Thumper, and we'll give her a run for her money. Okay, got my old buddy Thumper here. This is the bass that I have acquired recently, and so I'm going to take you through some of the features of the amp. Now, I am running through the Boss ME25 pedal, but only because this pedal has some effects that I like to use, the chorus and stuff, which I don't have analog effects for. The amplifier is not tube, it is a solid state amp. One thing I love, absolutely love about this amp is it only weighs 22 pounds. I mean, this thing, when I first bought it, I thought, man, I'm going to break my back just kind of packing this thing around, but it's so light, it's crazy. So anyway, we are going to go through some of the effects, and we're going to go through some of the voicings on the amp. This right now is the settings that I have it on for me. As far as the amp goes, on the Boss, we are running through channel 1, which is basically a bypass channel I consider for the amp. No effects, no nothing. So I'm going to leave it on this voicing and then go to the voicing later, and the bank on this pedal that gives me a little chorus and let you hear that. So this is the setting that I leave it on as of right now. Now, I've reviewed Thumper before. Thumper has quite a few features as far as the stackable knobs down here, and I really love this bass. It's a cheap bass, but I really do like this bass. Everybody's first bass lick they want to learn. There you go. All right. So that, as far as the voicings is concerned, that is the vintage set on the vintage. Let's turn the vintage off and turn the contour. Well, that was vintage and contour. Let's turn the contour off and turn the bright off. So this was all the voicings turned off on the clean side. Okay, now if we do bright, we'll turn the bright on. That's the bright. We turn the bright off, turn the contour on. Okay, turn the contour off, turn the vintage on. Okay, now when I usually play this, I have all of those on because I love the effect that I get with it. I love that sound. That's usually the sound that I go with whenever I'm playing this amplifier. Okay, now we are going to go to the overdrive, and now we have the gain dimed and the level at about 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. So it has some pretty decent overdrive, and I do like that about it, especially playing some older tunes where the bass players do use some overdrive. I don't think David Ellison uses overdrive on that song, but I've not researched enough into it to know yet. So, but that's your overdrive channel. And here is where she shines. Well, I messed that one up. So a little bit of chorus on that effect, compressor, I think just a touch, not very much at all, reverb in that. But I love that sound. I'm sorry about the sound quality. As a matter of fact, things tend to rattle in this room some when I start cranking it up a little bit, but working on soundproofing, that's in the future to come. Okay, now we're going to do a little backing track jam with this. Of course, like I said just a second ago, we're going to do with all of the voicings turned on, and we're going to do my preset that I have in the Boss ME25 that has a little bit of chorus to it. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is a journey of mine that I've been doing. I've picked up bass to lay down some bass tracks. I have been learning over the past couple of months a few little things about the bass, and never was really interested in it until I tried to record. And I realized that most of the DAWs that you find out there, even the ones you pay for, the bass lines are not all that great. You usually end up having to create something to be creative rather than use what is on their software, whichever one is used. I've tried 3 or 4, all of them are pretty much the same. But I have been learning a few things, and so I'll play a little ditty for you. But first, a little bit of backstory about the Fender Rumble amplifier that I acquired. I've said in the last video, I was talking about the local guitar store that is here close by that I frequent a lot, and I really do like them. They are really nice people. Shout out to Emily and Travis and all those guys. They've really helped me out for a while now, and I had called over to find out when I acquired this bass, because the first thing I did with this bass was put it through the carbon, and just to see if the electronics were good, because I couldn't believe I got this thing for the price that I did. It was about half the price of what it was selling new for, and it was basically new. The guy bought it, just wasn't his style, played it 3 or 4 times and then sold it. You know, it doesn't even have a ding on it, still doesn't. And so I thought, well, I need a good bass amplifier. So I called them up and, hey, we can order you the Fender Rumble 100. It was like $329. And I said, well, you know, I'm not really all that crazy about paying that much for an amplifier. I think I'll just look on my local Facebook marketplace and see what I can find there. And they reassured me, hey, if you can find a Rumble, that's the way to go. Those are best amps for beginners, and you can gig with them, and they're really good amplifiers. I said, okay. So I had in mind maybe I'd find a Rumble 25 or a Rumble 50 or 40 or whatever the middle one is. But anyway, after a couple of weeks of looking on Marketplace, this pops up. And so I contacted the guy, and he lives about an hour away. He was selling it for $175, and it still had a tag on it. And I was like, man, this thing is like brand new. Well, he ended up buying the Rumble 300 or something. It's a huge one. This dude's house is amazing. Every room is dedicated to a music instrument. It's like his whole house was a studio. And we get into the room where the basses are, and he has this huge upright bass, and it's had electronics put in it. So he was like, well, here, plug it in, and I plugged it in. He had the volume turned like halfway up. And I hit the low E because, the first thing as a bass player I've learned is to look for something that can handle those low frequencies. And I had this upright bass as tall as I was, even taller. The headstock on it was taller than my head. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to hit the low E and just see what this thing can do. And I am here to tell you that things in that house shook. It was like an earthquake, a little miniature earthquake. So I hit a few notes on the upright bass, and I was like, yeah, man, I'll take it. What's wrong with it? And he's like, well, there's nothing wrong with it. It's brand new. I've played through it for maybe 25, 30 minutes. And I said, why are you getting rid of it? And he says, well, I don't need it. It's taking up space. And I have this one. And next to it was its big brother, which was the Rumble 300 or 200, whatever it is. A lot bigger amp. And I said, well, I don't need nothing that big. This is just something I'm going to practice with at home, maybe gig with later on down the road, just depends. So he sold it to me for $175, and I was ecstatic about this amp when I got it home. I just could not believe. Lately, this year has been the year of blessings for me, the absolute year of blessings. And I want to tell each of you right now, I know that times are hard, times are bad. I know there's a lot of you out there to be depressed about, and a lot of things that are going on that build your anxiety up, and it's hard. I know things when I was a kid was a whole lot different than how they are in today's world. I look at everything in my life as a blessing. The air that I breathe. My health sucks. I'll have to do a whole video about that. But I have things going on with my health that's just absolute terrible. But I'm so thankful that I have a God that is watching out for me in my life. A lot of you probably don't realize this, but I am a Christian. I do believe Jesus Christ is king above everything. I pray for his return daily. I look at everything in my life as a blessing, and it was only till after I accepted Jesus into my heart and was baptized that everything changed for me. It was just like the road was laid out before me. I know some of you out there may not be Christians, and I know some of you that probably are Christians, but I just wanted to get that out there in case you were wondering that, I look at everything as a blessing, and hopefully you do too, because on my worst day, there's always something there to remind me that it could be so much worse than what it is. And that has been the cure for my anxiety and my depression. And this has helped me along the way. The gift that I have for music that God himself has given me is something that I use as medicine to help me along the way. I have a beautiful wife and 2 kids. That alone I'm thankful for most of all. But anyway, that's just wanted to get that out there so that you guys would know and understand that there are things happening in this world that would make you want to get in the fetal position in a corner somewhere and just crawl up and stay there. And I'm here to tell you there is a way out. All you got to do is look for it. All you got to do is apply yourself to it and try and make every little thing that is a blessing the biggest thing of that day. Okay, so now I want to play just a little bit of well, Six String Stinger calls them a ditty. I guess I could too, but just want to jam a little bit. I've got a drum backing track. Going to try and play along with that. A little thing on. I'm going to use a pick. I'm getting better with my fingers. But I still have. I'm yet to learn the slapping is kind of out of range for me. So I'm learning, and that's what we all are here for, is to learn. That's the thing. And there you have it. I kind of suck at playing bass. I'm sorry about that, but just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what this amp sounds like. Whether you find it on Marketplace for the $175 that I was blessed enough to find it for, or you pay the original price for it. Now, had I had paid $329 for this amplifier, it would have been well worth it to me. Well worth it. The price point is there. The fact that it only weighs 22 pounds, and the options that you get with the amplifier by itself. I didn't get the optional foot switch with this amplifier, but I really do enjoy it. It was just such a great blessing to me that I got it for the price that I got it. Had I not, I probably would have never knew, because my thing is I paid about $150 for Thumper, which is my bass, and I really didn't want to give more than that for the amp. However, when I found that one for $175, knowing what the price point was, I went ahead and bought that, and man, am I ever happy about that. The Fender Rumble 100 is an amazing bass amplifier, especially for you beginner, intermediate players out there, which I am. I am primarily guitar. My old buddy Richie here and Eden, my Washburn, see a whole lot more of time than what the bass does. But I do pick up the bass at least once a day. My tip is play your bass at least 15 to 20 minutes a day if you're trying to learn, or more. The more the better. But it's not like riding a bicycle. You will forget if you don't stay up with your practice on these things. I've been many years without playing any kind of instrument. It has gotten to the point where I've forgotten more than I used to know, and I'm trying to get back into it, and this is a good motivation for me, is to bring this stuff and these stories to you guys so that you can see that if you're going through it, you're not the only one. You know, you're not the only one. Do you need a studio? Here at Obscene Studio, this is just a spare room in my house. Obscene Studio used to be in my living room, and my wife had this room as a sewing room. She loves to craft and do stuff, quilt and stuff like that, which I encourage everybody to have some kind of craft or hobby to help with any kind of anxiety or depressions. I'm also an artist. I do drawings, paintings. I used to do some airbrush stuff. However, I have always had a love for music more than art, but I do love my hobbies. My hobbies get me by, and hopefully keep me sane until my Savior comes home. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that to you guys today. I wanted to say, hey, lift you up, give you some insight on some of this stuff that I have here at Obscene Studio, and this wonderful amplifier, which I thoroughly enjoy. I love this. It's good to have that kind of versatility. So with that being said, and the coffee cup almost empty, I'm going to hop off of here. I thank you guys for coming in. I hope your time was well spent. I thank for the comments on the recent videos that I've been getting, especially, I can't remember, it's a terrible something. He commented on my last video with a large amount of information on my carbon, which I so appreciate. I've been doing some research on that, by the way, and looking into it. And I hope that you guys have comments or suggestions or even questions about some of the things here. Maybe there's something I know that you don't know, or maybe something as you know that I don't know. But yes, just a redneck boy, love to play music. Now, let me go fill this coffee cup. Y'all have a good day. Thank you. Inspire, yet be inspired. And I'll see you again.